Okay, we are here for another morning Moto, everyone. We've got David with us, and I know Dana and some others will be jumping on, and I appreciate that. It lets me know that what I'm doing is valued and that you are enjoying it too. I'm going to read our daily reflection because, wherever you're at, David's in Ireland. It's 11 a.m. there. And we got Ian back. It just really puts us in the right mindset for, again, whether it's your lunchtime going into the afternoon. I'm just waking up and jump starting. I'm only on my second cup of coffee. It just kind of gets us really in a good spot. And we had such a wonderful conversation yesterday about community. Steve was with us and we were talking about community and being nice. We talked about our presence, using the gifts we were given, developing our presence, and being present in the moment. And that conversation just really stuck with me. And we've had other conversations where, I'm trying to remember who it was talking about just being nice to the people at the checkout. And that has kind of become our common theme about doing good, being mindful about our interactions with people during the day. And I'm enjoying it too because I was reflecting at the end of the day, and I remember challenging you to all go out and empower just with a nice comment or something, at least 5 people yesterday, and it was like, ooh, did I do it? And then I remembered, well, I sent a really nice video that made people think, a really good motivational video to 3 separate classes, psychology classes I teach. So that was probably well over 50 people. And I had several email me back that it was a powerful kick in the pants. So I hope I met my 5 by doing that. And then I think I sent an email too to somebody. So I'm going to jump in and read, and then we will discuss and jump on whatever topic we need to kind of hash over today so that we all have, strides, success in our business and personal lives. So today it's overcoming negative history. We are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world, against mighty powers in this dark world, and against evil spirits in the heavenly places. Ephesians 6:12. It is startling but true. The decisions we make today affect our children and our children's children for multiple generations. The Bible talks about how I don't even know how to say this word, iniquity of our fathers can be passed down for 3 or 4 generations. That includes bad habits, addictions, negativity, wrong mindsets, and other types of iniquities. Perhaps you're struggling in certain areas right now because people came before you made poor choices. Maybe you can look back and see the results of those choices somewhere in your family line. It is important, I'm starring some of this, that we recognize what has happened and not passively accept these dysfunctional patterns. It is important that we recognize what has happened and not passively accept these dysfunctional patterns. People say, well, this is just the way I am. This is poverty and sickness. It's always been in my family. And, I think of that with here in the United States, welfare families. Every generation stays stuck in that welfare system. It doesn't have to. No, you need to rise up and do something about your negative history. It may have been there for years, but the good news is it doesn't have to stay there. You can be the one to put a stop to it. You can be the one to choose the blessing and not the curse. Understand, if you are struggling with one or more of these things, that does not make you a bad person. You need not mope around guilty and condemned because you have some obstacles to overcome. Many times it may not even be your fault. Somebody else made the poor choice, and now you have to deal with the repercussions. I think we end up with that as business owners when we have clients who don't pay on time or run out and don't pay. It's not our fault. They're the one putting us in an uncomfortable situation. Nevertheless, be careful that you don't use the sins of others as an excuse to perpetuate negative lifestyle patterns. You have to dig your heels in and do something about it. One of the first steps to overcoming a problem is to recognize what you're dealing with. Identify it. Don't ignore it. Don't try to sweep it under the rug and hope that it will go away, because it won't. If you're lazy and undisciplined, don't make excuses. Just admit it and say, I'm going to deal with this. If you have an anger problem or you don't treat other people with honor and respect, don't try to convince yourself that everything is okay. Admit your problem and deal with it. Then practice what the Bible says. Confess your faults to one another and pray for one another that you may be healed. Notice you must be honest enough with yourself to confess your faults. And I think this is so true regardless if you have a belief system in God or not, or whatever your belief system is. It starts with deep down recognizing and admitting, you're not perfect. What can we change? Notice too that you're going to have to find a good mature friend and say, I need your help. I'm struggling in this area and I need you to pray with me. Too often we do the opposite. We think, I'm not going to tell anybody about this problem. What would they think of me? I'd be embarrassed. Instead, swallow your pride, confess your weaknesses, and get the help you need so you can be free. It's not easy to admit that you need help, but it is necessary and it is liberating. And I think that's even if it's not confiding in someone else, it's just, again, praying on that. You can beat anything that's coming against you. No addiction's too difficult for our God. No stronghold is impenetrable to him. It doesn't matter how long you've had it or how many times you've tried and failed. Today is a new day. If you will be honest with yourself, recognize what you're dealing with, and find somebody to hold you accountable, then you too can start living under the blessing and not the curse. You can free yourself from those negative patterns and start a new pattern of goodness and love to pass along to your descendants. Also, take responsibility for your actions. God has given you free will. You can choose to change. You can choose to set a new standard. I think that's really important. You can choose to set a new standard. Every right choice you make will overturn the wrong patterns that other people in your family's lineage have made. Every time you resist a temptation, you are one step closer to your victory. You may have a negative history, but you don't have to perpetuate it. We can't change the past, but we can change the future by making changes today. You can choose to change. Put a stop to any of the negative patterns in your family bloodline. It may have been there for years, but you could be the one to make a difference. Remember, this is a spiritual battle. You can take authority over any stronghold that is keeping you bondage. Recognize what it is, identify it, get it out in the open, and deal with it. As you do, you will see God's blessings and favor in your life, and you will pass down those good things to the generations to follow. And remember, you can be the one to choose the blessings and not the curse. Hi, Ed. Welcome. So I think, we've got lots of good things in this one. Again, it's about not playing the victim. It's recognizing where you are. So whether it's a personal situation, a business situation, a career situation, address it, look at it, take ownership. And, a couple of weeks ago, I started teaching a new class, and I go into the classroom and nobody has a textbook that looks like mine. It never occurred to me to ask my division chair if the textbook had changed. And so I go down the hall and I'm like, did the textbook change? And he's like, his eyes get big and he's like, oh my God, I forgot to tell you. And I said, no, that's okay. I didn't ask. I probably didn't ask. And he just kept apologizing. And when class was over, he met me outside my class and was apologizing. I said, no, I own it. I should have asked and I didn't. And I'm sure we had a conversation and I said I'd pick up a book later and forgot. But I took, I own it. It's mine. Class understands. And he kind of looked at me shocked because I said, I own it. I take the blame for that mistake. Yeah. So own it. And then you can design a new strategy. So guys, we got some empty seats here. Jump on board and let's talk about some growth strategies for personal business growth or whatever you want to talk about today. I know David is on talking last time with the episode he was on with really juggling all the demands of being a parent, a spouse, somebody's child. We're all somebody's child. Maybe a business owner, career person. We have multiple responsibilities and how to really juggle them all and give focus as they need. I remember Austin was saying you can't multitask, and I know we try to, and there's been research out there that multitasking just really doesn't work that well. I don't think I'm a good multitasker. I remember I retired from the Marine Corps 2002. So it was right around that time. It became like trendy here in the United States to one up each other with how many things you were multitasking. And I remember I have a friend, love her to death, but she is the queen of one upping. And I think I said something about, I was juggling school and working, and, kids were still at home and such as, well, I am juggling 30 things right now. And she starts to list off 30 things that she is multitasking. And I'm thinking, if you're juggling 30 things, you're not paying attention to any of them. You're just giving a check-in. You're not focused. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you juggle the busy demands throughout the day. I live by a day planner. I still use the old, and I make my own and sell them, and my clients love them. And I have people every year asking when my day planner is going to be available. Excuse me. But I'm the type, I need it in front of me. If I put it in my phone, I forget it's in there. So again, love to hear your thoughts, comments, jump on board. We've got seats open. Don't make me sit here by myself. If you want to just type in the chat window, I can read and I will relay your comment. So love to hear your thoughts. What are you thinking this morning? What are y'all thinking? Oh, excuse me. I'm going to just tell a little bird we're here and see if more people want to jump on real quick. So, and, just so you know, when you jump on and then you're in the seats and then we tell a little bird, it helps share your Twitter handle out there too, so people can connect with you. So I hope everybody's having a great day. We've got a hurricane coming. So talk about, well, it's not, I don't think it's considered a hurricane yet. We're in a Cat 3. So, my day, I look at it and I'm kind of surrounded by some files. I had a couple hot projects, and it's like, as I was waking up, that's part of my getting in that focus is got a lot to do today. What all do I have to do? And one of them is going to be bringing all my lawn furniture, plants, everything outside closer to the house, stuff that won't fit in my kitchen. And, just mentally, like, when am I going to do this? So again, it's like living by my day planner, because I've got lots of stuff to do today. So what do y'all got to do today? Y'all got exciting lives, or are you just gonna, it's amazing how many people, I change my notifications to see when people are jumping on blabs, and some people are on there all day long. I'm not sure how you get anything done, but I do like that. And I noticed Blab is still making new changes. This morning I saw again a couple new features. I didn't have to click to add my microphone and everything. All of a sudden I was just there, and it had a box at the bottom to let everybody know that I had just, started a new Blab. So lots of changes with Blab. Love to hear how you're using it, how you're using it for personal business growth, what you're doing with it. And I'm still waking up with my coffee, so I hope you've got your lunch, your beverage, and are hanging in here too. And y'all are awfully quiet today. You're either really not here or you're just being very quiet. So, all right, David's going to jump in. Good, because I was looking on my desk for something to talk about. Hey, David. It looks like he might be having trouble connecting.
Hello.
There you are.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, good. Great to see a face instead of just a little picture over there.
So, good morning to you.
Good morning. So what you got going
What
on
have I
today?
got going on today? I've got to go and I'm trying to develop a new website for myself. I started my own business about 2.5 years ago, and I've begun to realize that people do business with people rather than brands. And I suppose one of the mistakes I made in business was I tried to develop a brand rather than me, David Brown. Rather, I was known as be advertised. So I'm trying to plan how to make that change back to myself, back to me. So that
I think that's something we've all been through.
yeah.
And I started my business in 2006, and I think I started at the right time when the economy here was in the United States was kind of going in a slump, so it wasn't the prime time. But the coaches I worked with were calling it the inspirational economy. People didn't want to be sold to; they wanted a relationship with the person. And that fit me because I am not a saleswoman. I do not like sales. So I think, what your experience, we've all been through it. It's really that relationship, and the power of social media lets us develop those personable relationships, and then we become our brand.
Yeah.
Our brand is really us. It's not the logo. It's not the colors.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to get that through my head. It's really me, the way I work with people. It's the interaction.
Well, when I started up, I was known as be advertised. Well, I still am, but I was going to functions and people that I not met on Twitter and stuff, and people are going, "Oh, David, you're the bee," and then it made me realize people don't know who I am. People knew who my logo was and who my brand was, but they didn't know me. And I suppose I've been reflecting a lot on that recently, and I'm trying to decide, I've got cerebral palsy, and I'm a single dad. I've got a good few things going on in my personal life that I've overcome, but I've always kept that private. And now I'm beginning to realize that a lot of people that are highly successful share their stories of where they've come from and who they are. And I'm trying to work out, do I want to go down the road of, I'll give you an example. Because I've got cerebral palsy, I never want people to make allowances for that, ever. I'm very, very single-minded and straightforward. But somebody said to me recently, that's a selling point, but you've got to utilize it. But for me to utilize that, I need to admit it. And do I want to admit that? I don't know.
I say yes. If you read my bio, I tell people I have been a single mom with 3, working on my undergrad, working at the Pentagon while in the Marine Corps. I mean, I tell my story. And people that come to me a lot, I will say probably most of the women will say, I read your bio and I knew you would understand me.
Yeah.
Because I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
The men come to me and they've read it and they know I'm no nonsense. I'm going to, accomplish, I'm not playing the victim. So people will resonate. They won't, I don't think they'll use it as an excuse or give you an allowance, but they will support you and your business because they like you. They like that you're stepping up to be a dad. They like the things you have done and are doing. I mean, I coach soccer. I was Girl Scout leader and all these things that I always said a single parent does more than a family with mom and dad, because mom and dad worry about going home and cooking dinner. A single mom says, oh, we'll eat in the car. Here's your sandwich and let's go. And then when we get home, we'll make oatmeal or cereal. And we just have a different way of doing things, but we get more done and we do more volunteering.
Yeah.
So I say just read some bios of people you meet that you like. When you're comfortable, you share more. Yeah. I mean, I have certain parts of my story that at one point, I and my kids, when we were in Japan, we lived in first 3 days, we were in hiding in a spouse abuse shelter. But those things have made me who I am, and to help other women say, don't play victim. Grab yourself up and keep moving forward. If I can do it, anybody can do it, because there's nothing special about me. I'm just me. And that's usually what I tell people. So I say embrace it, because with the economy, Steve was on yesterday and we kind of touched on it again, that it seems like for here, we're ready for another recession. Something's going to happen. But again, I think it's the relationship.
Don't say that.
It truly is relationship.
Don't say that.
So, but you know what? That's when those relationships will be more important. That's why I think they're important. They want to support the small business owner, the solopreneur. They want to know that, when they work with you, it's going to help you and your family. It's not going to a big $500 million salary. I say embrace it.
We've got a saying here in Ireland that if America sneezes, Ireland gets the flu.
Uh-oh. I like that. I gotta write that down. That's cute. So I saw Ed giving a couple props here. So Ed, do you agree? Gosh, I can't even find a pencil this morning. So Ed, do you agree with that? That he should tell his story and people will resonate with it and jump on board, share your thoughts. I'm writing that quote down because I love it.
Well, it reminded me when you told me that, you were facing into another recession. I was thinking, no, please don't,
My business actually grew during the recession. And again, I think it was partly because people, I had a couple people who were what I consider old school, tell me my bio was too personable. Yeah. And I said, no, in my industry, people need to know who I am, because they're going to want to resonate with me because of who I am. And that has held true, and I have kept it very personable.
And a lot of times, it goes back to the saying that, I really, really like, and I'm trying to, it's something I preach, but I don't actually practice enough, is that people do business with people. I did, one of the first things I did when I started my own business was I spent all this time developing my own website and put a lot of time into it. And by my year end, I realized that 90% of the work that I generated actually came from getting out and meeting people. Your website will not you can have the best website out there, but unless people actually meet you and see who you are and hear what you have to say, you're not going to get business. And
I agree with that. And that's another one that took me a while somebody kept saying, don't spend all that time on a website. It's just a container. It's just a container of the information you want it to be. But I agree, you've got to get out there. I launched doing some public speaking. Some people were doing blog talk radio at the time. I was using TalkShoe. podcasting, and just getting out there. And it's, again, that relationship. They want to hear the voice. They want to hear, they want to meet you. They want to know who you are.
I'd actually love to be a public speaker. I have done some public speaking, but I mean, and you see a lot of websites where people put in their bio that they're a public speaker. I've spoken at 3 or 4 events over the last 2 years. Never got paid for it,
but you know what? I think, again, we've all been there. We start out doing it for free, just to get the visibility, to meet people. I used it as practice. I kept saying it's practice because I was not a public speaker. And it grew to then over the years, then, I finally had to ask if I was going to be paid, because they started asking me to speak. And I found out other people were being paid. So then I said, am I being paid, or am I doing this for free? And then they gave me a work order, purchase order. But, all of those things get you out in the public, the content marketing, the article writing, being here on Blab, social media, the right platforms for you, all have a different purpose as lead attraction strategies, really.
Yeah.
And it's just really having that good marketing plan of knowing where you're, I have one client that calls it a fishing pond. She says, I need a new fishing pond. Mine is dried up. And it's evaluating where are your ideal people.
Exactly.
And then going there, and whether it's speaking, at a Rotary or a civic event, for here we have community colleges that have business centers, and to go speak somewhere like that on something about website design, the new components, the new changes, keywording, just whatever you love, and just maybe, getting on people's calendars even for next year, since this year's almost over, and making the speaking part of that face-to-face connection.
Yeah.
Would be something I would recommend. It's just.
No, I fully agree with you. Sorry, I'm just.
And even just doing your own blab on something, or partnering and doing a blab, and then recording it, saving it. I save these blabs over on YouTube. I have a YouTube playlist with them, and then I post them over on Pinterest. Right. So again, I'm recycling the blab.
Yeah.
So you could do something like that and share with people too. It's a good way to let people know what you do, your message.
Yeah. So, and Blab, one thing I've said about Blab is video has always scared me. Putting myself on video online, like putting a YouTube video together or something, has always scared me, because I'm very conscious of my speech. So, but Blab, for some reason, because it's live, because I don't watch it back, I'm more, what's the word? More confident. Definitely more confident on Blab than I would be putting a video together for YouTube. And people have said for years that, if you want to market yourself online, you need to be on video and you need to be on YouTube. And yes, by all means you do. But that little, 9 times out of 10, I'm a highly confident person. But when I see myself back, especially with my speech and my balance and my walk and whatever else, that makes me very self-conscious. But when I don't see all that, it's like it's not there, And so Blab has given me that little bit of confidence to, not that I don't.
But you know what? I think we're all like that. And, you know, guys, I know we got Ian and Ed and Simone, everyone. Jump on board and share your thoughts. But I think we're all that way. We're all very self-conscious. Even when I would do the Talk Shoe podcast, I don't like my voice. I don't like the way I sound. So I wouldn't listen to them. But you know what? We are our worst critics. And what we pick apart as our flaws, other people aren't even noticing.
Brilliant.
It's about the message. They're listening to the message. And we spend way too much time beating ourselves up over it. I say just jump in and do it. Because, and there's always going to be the cruel people. I had a dentist one time. I went to this new dentist about braces because my other dentist insisted at age 45 I needed braces. And when I went there, he just looked at me, and he was a mean old guy. And he says, well, the first thing we need to do, or he says, I can't believe no one has told you you needed braces before. And I said, no, they haven't. And I've always gone to a dentist. And then he says, and the first thing we need to do is break that jaw and move your jaw back because you have two, I don't even know the word, I think prominent chin or something. And I'm thinking, everybody in my family has this chin, this profile. Why do I want to change it? But he really, like, I felt horrible leaving. The way he made me feel was that when I walked down the street, I am the ugliest person. And if somebody were to see me, they would scream and run the other way. That's how bad I felt when I left. But, you know, there's always going to be people like that. And you just have to, you know, and it took me a couple hours to recover from his comments. And I never did go get my jaw broke. I thought that is the craziest thing I've ever heard. But, you know, I've met some wonderful people, had wonderful guests on my show. Some were blind. Some, you know, we all have our quirks. And that's, again, why people resonate with us. Because I remember somebody saying, ending an interview saying, gosh, I sounded like a dork. Hi, Diana. And she said, no, don't try to be, you know, you're just you and people love you because of the way you just deliver stuff. So just keep being you. And so that's what I say to you, David. Just be you. Just jump in there, do what you want to do, be you, and people are going to resonate. They're going to love the message. And anything that you think they're going to pick apart, they're really not. They're really not.
It's funny.
And if they do, so what? They're not your ideal client.
It's funny, something you just said reminded me of another saying I had once. You know, be yourself. People will adjust.
That
be
what?
yourself. Others will adjust. You know, let them change their focus, you know.
Yeah. And, you know, and I think this probably goes for any of us, if we let fear stop us, we wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't be here. I didn't know what I was doing. I had practiced like 1 hour with a couple of my assistants doing a blab. We really liked it. Somebody joined in when we were practicing and gave us some tips, and I decided just to jump in with both feet and do the morning Moto show. And I have enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it. So I say just jump in. Just jump in and do it. You're not going to die. I haven't.
Well, then anything gets you out there, right?
Yeah, you do. And it's those situations that just, you know, you learn from each one. You start small. I started with just, you know, at some networking events and then speaking and then the community college where there were small groups. And then finally I had the nerve to ask if I could be paid because everybody else was being paid. So it was like maybe $100. And then it just grew to larger amounts. And it was a gradual process. But by the time I was getting paid some nice money, I was prepared for it. I was comfortable with it. And it, you know, we've all been through that uncomfortable stage. So just do it. Just do it. Go have fun and do it.
I went to see, what's that guy's name? The Wolf of Wall Street. I went to see him last year. and he was giving these motivational speeches and coaching session, and you can get. I kind of came away thinking this guy is just charging so much money to beef everybody up, and it's all an act. And you get some coaches just get way ahead of themselves. Come on in, buy my book for or my CD set for $700. Like, no, I'll go home and watch YouTube. Thanks very much. But a lot of people have these get rich quick ideas and think that because they can regurgitate so much information that it's like a pyramid scheme, and that nearly puts me off some methods of coaching. Not all of them. Some coaches can be very good, but then again, you gotta draw the line. You're giving somebody information, you gotta get paid for it.
Right.
Like people will ring me to pick my brains, or and a 5-minute phone call will turn into an hour, and you're like, my knowledge is what makes me money.
And how do you handle that? Because welcome, Chris, because I have again, it's another thing I had to learn. Nobody told me about the picking the brain or let me buy you lunch. And then they want all the free that they should have paid, a couple $100 for. And it's like you're devaluing it by a $10 lunch. No. Chris says, no phone calls, email only, keep it short, sweet, know when to say no. Yes, I have on my website now, they can schedule their own appointments, but it has on there, I don't even do the free session anymore because people will, I call it kind of snatching and grabbing. They'll take free from everybody and never intend to pay. No, there is a first initial session, I think is like $50 or $60, which will then, once they contract with me, is subtracted from that, unless I know they're ready to, they're going to hire me. But I don't do the free. And it took me coming up with some scripts of really saying, I'd love to chat. Would you like me to send you a PayPal invoice? How would you like to pay for the session?
Yeah.
And it literally, I had to have these written down for me because I would get on the phone and I was tongue-tied. I didn't know what to say. I would give it all away for free. And even now I'm sitting here with a resume. Somebody wants me to proofread. That's a high-ticket item. I am fabulous at writing resumes, and this person wants it for free and they just, I didn't know what to say. And I said, just put it in my bag because I was working volunteering at an event. And it says what I'm reading over here. And feel free to jump in the seat, Chris. I answer questions in a Facebook group that gives me credibility. Then they seek me out. Remove your phone number from the internet. Now, I like having my phone number for credibility. Oh, can't. Baby's sleeping. Okay. Keep the comments coming and I'll relay them. I like having my phone number, but I don't answer a call. I let it go to voicemail, and then I really don't get to pick the brain anymore, but I used to. And then I have a virtual assistant who will return the calls, or I have an email script ready that says, I received your message. I don't see that I received payment for a session, but go ahead and, go over to my website and secure a session and let me know when convenient, give them 3 choices to talk. And one, you'll never hear from them again if they don't intend to pay, which is fine, but it just eliminated that. So it's really, again, coming up with a system, and we've all been there and through it, and it's something that's really not taught. Do you charge per hour, per task, or prepaid? I don't know if you're talking to David or me, but I say yes to all of those, depending on what it is. So, David, do you charge per, if they're wanting advice on something, I would say have an hourly rate or a bundled rate of something.
Yeah, I do have an hourly rate. Problem, the problem I find is that I'm still very small. So my people I do business with seem to be friends, or they seem to be friends of friends, and you're trying to help people out. And as well as that, what I get is, because I'm in website marketing and Facebook, and a lot of people come to me, and the most annoying thing is people will come to me and they say, I have a new business idea. I've no money yet, but, let's get this started and see where we go. 9 out of 10 of them will fail, and you get nothing. I developed a website for a client about a year ago. He went out of business in 6 months. I'm never going to get paid for that. Ever.
No. Here's what I would recommend based on, again, I've lived through it. I've seen it with my clients, and I think Chris would agree over here. If they don't have a business budget, ask for their budget. Well, do you have a business plan? Have you done a budget? How much did you budget for web design? And if you're getting that deer in the headlights, don't do it. Or another one that I do use, PayPal. I think PayPal's everywhere in the world. With PayPal, they can defer their payment for 6 months to PayPal, but you get paid immediately.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yes. It's called, it used to be PayPal Bill Me Later, but I think now it's just PayPal Credit.
Okay.
And it's a tiny line on when they're checking out that they can click. It'll have the credit cards, and it'll say that PayPal Credit, I believe. They can click on that and defer the payment for 6 months to PayPal. You get paid. Then at that 6 months, they can make payments to PayPal. If they're out of business, guess what? PayPal's dealing with it, not you. But I would just say, you know what? I'm sorry. This is, how would you like to pay for that? I don't, again, you have responsibilities. You are a business. You need to be paid for that. And I wouldn't feel bad. And one thing I did with a couple people who were friends or in a networking circle that kept wanting free advice, after, they knew what my fees were, I sent an invoice. I just sent an invoice. They were either going to pay it or I was never going to hear from them again. And I really didn't care. But that will shut them down. If they're calling for that, picking the brain or whatever, just say, just gently say, well, how would you like me to invoice you? We've gone about an hour. And it's really having those scripts.
I'd like to share a couple of stories, but I'm afraid to because I don't want to be identified, but I don't think there's anybody on here that I'm doing business with. But, I did a website for a guy, again, 6 months ago, and the check has been in the post every Friday for the last 6 months.
Then send a PayPal link. Send a PayPal link. I have a friend who she ran into that, and she finally went to their office. And I was like, wow, that was gutsy. She went to the office, and the gatekeeper, the secretary said, well, he's in a meeting. She says, well, I'll wait. And she just sat down and waited. And he wrote her a check finally. But, the thing that makes me, it used to make me angry. And I tell my clients to do this too. if somebody's wanting a discount, somebody's wanting it for free, they're giving you a sob story. One, ask for their budget.
Okay.
And tell them it's part of your, your scholarship program or something. But also watch them on social media. And when you see them going to dinner at every new restaurant, they're out on the water filling up the boat with gas in the boat, and they're shopping, and you're home eating ramen noodles. No, they chose where to spend their money, and they chose not to invest in that website. And that's when I don't feel bad saying no. And I get mad when I have given somebody a break, and then I find out, oh no, we're going to do this and this and this and this. And it's like, really? All right. Never mind. So use social media to see what they're really up to, where they're spending their money, because people they love to brag online.
Yeah.
Chris says, I use PayPal, get paid instantly, takes the trip to the bank out of the equation, never discount yourself. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree with that. And it's hard when you want to help the new business owner, but you know what? Like you said, most go out of business, and if they don't have that built into their budget, then that's not your problem. They need the reality of this is what things cost to start a business.
Well, that's like I wouldn't walk into a grocery store, fill my trolley up, and then turn around and go, you know what? I've just started my own business. I'll get back to you when I start making money. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
Okay, well, look, it's 10 to noon here right now. I know you're on a tight schedule. I'm on a tight schedule. I'm probably taking over this talk this morning, but I do not.
No, I think it's been beneficial for everyone. Great reminders here for us all. I just say go out and do it. Go out and book some speaking gigs. Get out there at networking events. Get known. Don't give it away for free. No more free.
No, don't. Well, I hope blab don't start charging, or I'll have to pay to talk to you.
Well, have a good day. Thanks for being on here.
Yeah, take care.
All right, bye-bye, David. All right, lots of good stuff with David that are great reminders for all of us as being a business owner. We need to not give away our services for free. Sometimes we need to have a script in front of us to remind ourselves what to say when we get blindsided, caught off guard. Somebody wants it for free, that sob story. Because we are in business, we do have families to support. We've got a light bill, an internet, we're a business. And, we know what our competitors are charging. Nobody's giving it away for free. And I tell you what happens if you do give it away for free, you become known as the one who will give it away for free or fall for every sob story. And no, you don't want that. You can't. It's not, I know people say, but, and it's hard when it's intellectual property. People don't understand how many hours we spend learning and studying and, honing our craft, so to speak. But no, we can't. And I know people say, oh, but I would give it away for free because I love it. It's my passion. No, you wouldn't. It's a business. A real estate agent's not going to give you a free house. A car dealer's not going to give you a free car. The grocery store owner doesn't give you free groceries. So please don't give away your services or products. You can have, maybe what your walkaway point is. Maybe you do 2 or 3, if you're a baker, you give away 3 cakes a year for fundraisers or something. Or, you help it, what your kind of almost your tithing for your business is. But please don't feel that don't feel guilted or shamed into giving away something for free. No. And that, I think, lots of great comments on the phone call when they want to pick your brain. No, You direct them to a website. You let them know what your hourly rate is, your, per minute, whatever it is. There's even liveperson.com is still around where people log in and pay per minute. So lots of ways you can send a PayPal link. I agree with Chris on being prepaid. I have taken a credit card over the phone during a coaching session, and then when we hung up, the card didn't work and the person never, so it's all learned. I've learned so many lessons. They're lessons learned that no one teaches. And I always tell my clients, learn from my mistakes, learn from the things that I've learned the hard way so that you don't lose money like I did in certain areas. But that's a big one. I wasn't prepared that people would not pay, didn't want to pay, didn't think they should have to pay. And again, friends and family will be the worst. They will be the worst. They will never be your, and when you start, you think, oh, my friends and family will buy. No, they want it for free. They want it all for free. Anybody that you've ever known will want it for free. So that's why you need to really expand your network through public speaking, fishing in the right pond with social media. As David said, the website, it's not always it doesn't bring you, it's where you drive the leads to find out about you. We were talking about the bio early on, and I do think you have to have a very personal bio. People want to resonate with you and know who you really are. Welcome, Janet. So lots of good stuff this morning with David. I'm glad he came back and joined us so we could hash through some good topics on business. They're great reminders for all of us. And even when, I catch myself wanting to reach out to somebody for legal advice, it's like, no, I will pay. I need a session. We need to talk. I don't expect this for free. Something, I had somebody one time, they couldn't pay, but they brought me some organic blueberries. And to them, that was a huge thing. And it was, they ended up staying for like 4 hours. Did I follow my own advice? No, but I love working with this client. And, that was my, I will work with her and take what I can, what she can pay, however. But other people, no, no, they're not in the same position as her. So know your walk-away point with that. And again, PayPal is a great way to get paid upfront for the whole amount. Again, use that PayPal credit, PayPal bill me later, whatever it's called right now. And let the person know they can, defer their payments. I just recommended that to a client yesterday, actually, for an event she has where she says people are always slow paying, slow signing up. And I said, nope, get them now. Use PayPal. It's kind of mindless. So it's been a good blab, a very good blab. I'm going to wrap it up with our prayer from Joel Osteen, as we always do every day. Remember, again, the message today, if you missed it and you jumped on late, really talking about overcoming the negative history, things that have been in our past. I'm just going to read a couple of the highlights I underlined. Perhaps you're struggling in certain areas because people who came before you made poor choices. You look back and see the results of those choices somewhere in your family line. It's important to recognize that what has happened and not passively accept these dysfunctional patterns. One of the first steps to overcoming a problem is to recognize what you're dealing with, identify it. Don't ignore it. Don't try to sweep it under the rug and hope that it will go away. It won't. And then swallow your pride, confess your weaknesses, and get the help you need to set you free. And set a new standard. Choose to set a new standard, whether it's with finances, even on, the not getting taken to the cleaner, so to speak, on giving away free services. A new standard of, no, this is my rate. This is how you pay. You have to educate your clients on how your business works. And again, remember, you choose to change. So today's prayer to becoming a better you. Father, I want to take these steps to deal with my past. Help me identify dysfunctions, confess them, and trust you for the power to overcome them. So I challenge you today to really take a look at maybe what's not working in your business or in your personal life, or if you're an employee at the job, and what's your part of the ownership in that. Take ownership of what is yours to own and set out a new, design a new strategy to turn it around, to turn that negative into a positive. Don't stay stuck. If you're in a situation of violence, don't stay in that violent situation. Make a plan to escape. If you're in a bad financial bind, review your budget. Look at where can you, cut corners. What new income can you bring in? What part can you own in turning around your finances? If you need new clients, look at your lead generating strategies. What's not working? If you're job hunting, review your resume. Again, are your skills outdated? Do you need to update something? Take an honest look, and even maybe it's just the environment of your office space is not conducive to encouraging you. It's kind of mentally draining. So take an honest look at what's going on and take ownership and choose to move forward. I encourage you all to have a fabulous day, and we'll be back here again tomorrow for another morning moto to get you going. I know some people are on, 5 hours or more ahead. So if you're on a different time zone, have a great afternoon, a great evening. Thank you for joining me. The comments, everyone in the chat over here who couldn't jump on. I know it's early morning and sometimes family is still asleep. But for me, this is the best time to get on here and share what I like to share. So I do appreciate you joining me and sharing great comments, because you all were a great help. Chris, you had great stuff to help David this morning. And again, I saved these over onto YouTube and onto Pinterest. So it's that whole compound friending. This will go in multiple directions, and your tips, your suggestions for David today will help other business owners who are struggling with the same topics. We've all been there, done it, and it helps to hear from other people who've been there and done it and how they overcame that, the strategy. So, Chris, thank you so much for being with us. Hopefully, one of these days you can jump in the seat and we can see you face to face. So, I'm going to end this blab. Everyone have a very blessed day. Ed, Ian, Simone, Diana, everyone, thank you. We had Pamela on here, Paul, Michael jumped on, and Janet. Thank you for jumping on board. Again, if you missed the beginning, listen to the replay. And everyone, have a great day. Thanks so much for being here. Bye-bye.